seconds.
Right.
Maybe you
Yes.
can enable recording, Kannan, from your end. I think that's unmuted. You
Yes,
good?
yes.
Perfect.
So I have enabled the recording, and we are on live on Facebook now, live. So I'll just introduce this talk. So first of all, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here on Zoom as well as on Facebook. There are 100 participants who have joined us on Zoom, and the others who are not able to are joining us on Facebook Live. So thank you all very much for joining us. And today we are having this special episode uh, of Brainfeed Ed Talks with in association with APER and ECA. And the topic is making STEAM the engine of learning in ECE. So the panel discussion today is led by Dr. Swati Popatpats, President Poddar Education Network, Early Childhood Association and Association for Primary Education and Research. So we have our esteemed panelists. I would like to introduce them. Dr. Sarika, lecturer in education, Monash University, Faculty of Education, Melbourne, Australia. Mr. Pranay P. Oswal, founder and managing director IQ Pune. Ms. Mansi Zaveri, founder and CEO KidStopPress.com Mumbai, and Dr. Rita Sonawat, former dean SNDT Women's University, executive director ECA. So thank you all for joining, and I request Swati ma'am to please take over.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much, Kannan and Mr. Brahmam. Brainfeed is one of the first few magazines who actually did an interview about Early Childhood Association, and that is how a lot of states in India came to know about the Early Childhood Association. So pleasure to have here today Dr. Sonawat. Everybody knows her, and she's looking so pretty. So welcome, ma'am. Sarika has joined us all the way from Australia. So Sarika, a kangaroo salute to you. Pranay has joined us from Pune, and Pranay and his ever smiling face is one of the few things that I always look forward to, both in my work at ECA and at APER. Hi, Pranay.
Thank you so much, General.
And Mansi is, of course, she was introduced as founder of Kidstop Press. But Mansi, I don't know if people know this, she holds one of the most respected awards in this country. They are like an Oscar level awards. And Mansi, I look forward to attending one of those. Can we hear Mansi? Is Mansi on?
Thank you so much, so much.
Okay. So STEAM, you all know that STEM, it was first STEM. It was only about science, technology, engineering, and maths. And then, of course, the world realized that arts are also a very integral part of education and life. And so STEM became STEAM. What is also very important for all of us to understand that STEAM is basically what the children are taught in the classrooms to explore, to tinker with. But it is very important that teachers are prepared for STEAM and to understand STEAM so that it just doesn't become an extracurricular activity. Because if you are adopting the STEAM curriculum, it has to become the part, the core, the foundation of your curriculum and activities. So it is very important that teachers are trained in understanding STEAM, because otherwise it will just become very subject based, and it will lose its flavor of what STEAM was actually meant for. STEAM can be incorporated even in preschool. And I've had two workshops on water before STEAM, that if you are going to introduce STEAM to your teachers, you need to teach them about water, because after all, everybody knows it's water that gives rise to steam. So in water, I have again made it into an acronym, and it stands for trying to teach teachers what is the foundation of STEAM. So at the end of the session, I'll be talking to you about water, because it's very important. After you've heard everybody talk about STEAM, you would want to know now how to start off your teachers in understanding STEAM. So very importantly, we have a very diverse group of panelists out here. We have Sarika, who's working on STEAM research in Australia. She also has it as a subject for her graduate students. We have Dr. Sonawat, who has taken a lot of workshops and trainings on making STEAM possible in Indian classrooms. We have Pranay, who has done a lot of work with tinkering, and he and his company are also very, very involved in work in STEAM. And of course, we have Mansi. Mansi is going to represent us both as a very, very important key member, key stakeholder in the school community, which is that of a parent. And also she heads a community. So her voice becomes very important for us today, because it is fine for us to hear only from educators, but it's also important for us to hear from the people whose children actually use the curriculums that we develop. So that is why we have this lovely diverse panel, and I have questions for each one of them. And at the end, we are going to be taking 3 questions from the audience. So I urge the audience, if you have any questions, please type them. Also, please type who you would like to address with those questions. So let's start our STEAM engine, and please understand that the questions are asked per se only keeping ECE in mind. So your replies also should not keep primary or secondary in mind, but primarily ECE, because our topic of the day is, should STEAM become the engine of preschool education? So my first question goes out to Dr. Sonawat. Dr. Sonawat, do you think that adopting STEAM in preschools, we are ignoring certain skills or certain other learning areas? What do you think? Have we lost Dr. Sonawat? No, the video.
No, Swati, I'm here. Yeah. Hi, Swati, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I like your question. And the good news is all children are born scientists.
True.
So if you see Indian education policy, even the policy is also doing justice with ECE as well as with the STEAM. And rightly, in your introductory remark, you have talked about it should be integral part of the early childhood curriculum. So the policy is also divided into 3 parts, 0 to 3, 3 to 6, and 6 to 8. And all the 3 parts, if you see, they are discussing about the STEAM in a very interesting manner. Like 0 to 3, they are saying it is very important to stimulate all the senses. And especially they have talked about sight and touch. And these are the 2 senses. If it is developed, then the children can explore, experiment, understand, they can even predict. So that kind of power they can have. So that way, even the policy is talking in 0 to 3, you can give the skill of problem solving to the children.
Okay, that's great.
And if you go to the 3 to 6, Swati, then the policy is saying it should be cognitively stimulating environment should be given to the children. So if we are saying cognitive stimulating, but it should be supervised by the supervisor. Just giving the environment is not enough. If you make the lab of the STEAM and asking children to go and explore there, it will not help them, but it should be supervised play and children are working in it. So that kind of examples the policy is giving. And second policy is talking about some example like when we are talking about germination in the classroom. So this germination, sometimes when the children, they go back to home, they can do the experiments. And some of the experiments which has done by the children are very different. Like one of the child what he did is he removed the plant from the pot and put his gun and like a seed. And then the mother was like shocked, why you're doing like this? Then the child has said, I want to plant the gun, so I will have a plant of the gun and so many guns will come out. So that kind of cognition, thought the children can have. The gun is not a very good example, but it has happened, so I'm sharing with you. And for the 3 to 6, again, it's very important here, because there the policy is talking about discovery-based and activity-based education. And then the policy is saying that all these things which you are doing is understanding that the children, they have an infinite curiosity, they have love for logic, and they have an infinite energy. So if we understand all these three which are there, then the policy is saying even your teacher training should be corresponding to the all these logical thinking, visual art, craft, drama, puppetry, music, and movement. All these things should be connected. Then only we can see the implementation of policy in the classroom. So that way, STEAM is directly supporting the policy.
So perfect. So which means we are not ignoring any skills or learning areas if we say that our curriculum is centered around STEAM, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect. Sarika, I would like to come to you now. Tell us about your work in STEAM.
Yeah, so I absolutely second what Rita ma'am has just reiterated, that children are born scientists. So in my work as an early childhood lecturer in in science education in Australia, there is no formal science curriculum when we look at 0 to 5-year-olds. So having said that, I still call myself as an early childhood science or a STEM lecturer, because STEM is really an upcoming topic globally. So I'm glad to be talking about this in this forum here. And I work with pre-service teachers, and I also research. I've got about 3 international projects happening. One is with India. I'm born and brought up in India, so definitely my roots are there. So going back to the example of germination, but all my studies and my PhD and everything research is still rooted in the Australian education context. So going back to my work is yes, STEM research has been my passion since the last 3 years, and including my role as a lecturer. You're bound to teach science or STEM subjects, but as I say, that STEM is not straightforward. So like you've really posed that STEAM can be an engine or not. So there is still room, segue, that how these interdisciplinary concepts can come together to make that STEAM engine or STEM engine, the way you want to put it. The arts bit is so inherent in early childhood that no one can ignore it. So I do acknowledge that, yes, STEM can become STEAM. So in my research, what I've looked at internationally is looking at how the early childhood context itself is so much rich in indoor experiences, the children's curiosity, the wonderment, and the eagerness to learn is so much, like almost 1000%. So STEM is something that opens that playground, that opens the doorway to learning. And like how ma'am has just mentioned, cognitively challenging. Children are so they soak in, they're sponges. So how much ever challenging experiences you give them, let them kind of fail in those experiences, whether they're doing in the Australian case. I'll give you, we love our block play, we love our tinkering with different materials. At the moment, children are locked down in the houses, but still there is that element that play is so cognitively important. And when the children are out there in the yard, in the classroom, STEM is all around them. When they start building those blocks, the ramps, the tunnels, there are concepts of materials, properties, science. There's concept of technology. How are you going to build that ramp or that tunnel? There's engineering. There's arts, the 100 languages of children that really pour out when they are engaging themselves in STEM or STEAM. Maths concepts. So it's out there. So then the role comes to us educators, and then, you know, whether it's in-service teachers or my pre-service teachers. In my research, I also promote technology, which has been a taboo. But now I pose that questions to early childhood educators. How are we engaging our children for learning? You know, giving those cognitively challenging prompts. We are disseminating, we are delivering the content through technology. So I do strongly believe that technology can be integrated in STEM. That can kind of become the STEAM of you know, integrating those concepts in your classrooms. And what I also have found in my research is multimodal learning, which actually means that children, okay, you love reading stories. I know there is heavy, the crowded curriculum about the literacy, the reading and the writing and the counting and the multiplication. All that is still, it is still there. It can still be blended in an integrated way, like how ma'am was saying, you know, the integration of those skills can still happen. So I do believe that, and what I'm seeing from my own research work is, you know, that how STEAM and all these different STEAM elements can kind of intertwine. And when I also say using technology as a segue, just pause me when my 3 minutes are over, ma'am. I'll go back to the text-based. So, you know, teachers are really good at reading books, the 2D texts, but using technology. For example, in my work, I've used social robots, robotic toys. So earlier you were talking about tinkering. Just by having that extra tech-based artifact in the child's environment, you know, the inquiry, the curiosity just kickstarts, it just sparks. Just
That's
pause me when I
perfect.
finish my time.
That's really perfect. Perfect. I think it makes sense when you say that it has to be integrated together. As I said in my introduction also, you can't take them as separate subjects. The whole idea of STEAM is that STEAM has to be integrated. Children must see everything as an integration. Otherwise, that's why the boredom in today's education system, when we see science as a separate topic and we feel science has nothing to do with technology or art, you know. So it is very important what you said. Integration is something that I took from what you talked about in your work. Pranay, what has been your
Yes,
experience
ma'am.
with STEAM, and with which age group?
Great. Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, General. It's always a pleasure to have every conversation with you. Having said that, primarily speaking, you know, when I say a STEAM, so we also got a question over here. I just read it because a couple of our viewers are still asking what is the full form of STEAM. So I'll just take the opportunity and also tell them STEAM is nothing but science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. All right. So just for all those who are listening for this acronym for the very first time, STEAM basically stands for that. Secondly, when I say our usage and our experience in general, so when I say again, we over here, so that's my younger brother, Prateek. So both of us, we have authored these 7 books. I don't know if you all can see this. So these are the 7 books which we have authored. Okay.
Wow.
And we have created a curriculum for school kids. All right. So this curriculum primarily starts from logical reasoning, verbal reasoning, linguistics, spatial interpretation, memory, problem solving, qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis, visual reasoning, abstract reasoning, and many other concepts that enhance the overall aptitude of a child. So we are not really focusing about mathematics. We're not really focusing about any one particular subject over here, because we are, as you rightly said, right, that this should be a holistic 360 degree development over here. So irrespective
Pranay,
of somebody,
what
sure.
is the name of the book and what age group is it for? Pranay? I think we have lost the connection with Pranay. He will join us soon. Till that time, I will go to Mansi. Mansi, what are your thoughts on STEAM education?
Well, I'm going to talk from a perspective of a parent, right? From me and from a part of me, which is an entrepreneur, and what I have learned over so every bit of education that is now really useful for me is what I would like to say. Is one is that STEAM or STEM or both of it is a part of really delivering the goods from point A to point B. What is the ultimate destination that we're looking when we're looking in the corporate setup, when we have to employ all of the students tomorrow or give them jobs or look at them being entrepreneurs, all of that? The ultimate destination is to ensure that you are raising curious lifelong learners, right? Now,
Well
if
said.
that entails adding the E, I would say most definitely. I mean, when last year I attended the Penguin lecture by Yuval Noah Harari, he said that the only way for 21st century kids to really survive and really not just survive and stay afloat, but really make a dent and compete with technology was to constantly learn and unlearn. Right now, the other reason why I believe that A is going to be very, very critical, Swati, is because what is the biggest learning out of this conversation? We are all storytellers, right? Now, storytelling, if you know something but you can't communicate that, then that A has not done his job. That's why I think that A is so important, right? You may have the best patent, you may have the best invention or whatever else that you have created, but if you can't story tell, you've lost the plot somewhere, right? And another bit that I would actually like to share is about this book that I'm reading by Adam Grant, which is called The Originals, which says that practice makes perfect, it doesn't make new. So if you remove the A, you can keep doing the same math over and over again, the same engineering concept. Where is the new going to come from? Right? And the other bit that he adds is the hallmark of originality is rejecting the default and exploring whether a better option exists. Now, arts always, when you look at just STEM, you have clear goals, right? But from art, there's no, oh, this is wow, but you can't compare to, right? And like everybody's story can just be as powerful, or everybody's conversation can be just as powerful. But I think what is critical is that's what that A brings to the table, right? And I think when we are saying, if the last thing I can add is, if we are saying that if English language has 26 just alphabets and over a lakh words, something like a music or an art has primary color, secondary color, 7 notes. That's far easier to learn, to communicate, to storytell, right? So I just feel that, and from a parent's perspective, what's really helping even in these tough times is the fact that the arts, the culture, the music, all of that is woven into the curriculum, and that is not dropped out of even e-learning at this point in time in largely all of the schools. So as a parent, I'm thankful for that. And I think that the cultures and the humanities is what's really going to stand out for our children, and therefore becomes imperative for you as educators.
Wow, that is wonderful. I love the bit when you said that practice makes perfect, but it doesn't make new. So Dr. Sonawat, you'll have to put your mic on mute because we're having a lot of disturbance. Have we got Pranay back?
Am I seen by everyone?
Yes. Yeah. As
Great.
long as you have heard Pranay, because everybody is excited to know the title of your book and what age group is it meant for?
Sure. So these books, these basically are called iCube. All right. So these are the 7 books we have authored, and it's been 7 years. We are there very much in the industry. So along with my younger brother, who is Pratik Oswal, so we have both done this together almost 7 years ago, and we can proudly say we are able to inspire almost 75,000 students in over 300 schools.
So,
And
Pranay, before you explain about this, I have one request. If you can make a JPEG of this so that we can put it on all ECA WhatsApp groups.
I will.
Because it is essential that everybody should have a look at these books and buy these books for their schools. And I must also say another tinkering expert is there today in the audience. His name is Lucky Surana.
Superb.
So go on, Pranay, tell us about your work.
So when I say this, so we have done this. So I'll just try to keep my video because I think I'm losing some voice over here. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes, sure. So the whole idea is we try to create a system. So irrespective of anyone wanting to choose any profession, all right. So irrespective of somebody wanting to become a doctor, irrespective of someone willing to choose engineering as a stream, irrespective of someone wanting to become a submarine champion, or irrespective of somebody wanting to become an artist, a teacher, a mathematician. It doesn't really matter. So what we have done is we have compiled the curriculum of all the global examinations and introduced this at school level. And you'll be surprised that more than 40% of these toppers, okay, more than 40% of these toppers, they are all from junior grades. And I'll proudly say that STEAM is also important because it really helps teachers incorporate multiple disciplines at the same time, and also promotes learning experiences that allow children to explore, question, research, discover, and exercise innovative building skills. And again, since we are all from multiple backgrounds, so let's also say teachers are the saviors of the world. They're not just
Absolutely.
people, they're not really just people who will just change your math and science, but they are those architects who will actually draw your destiny. And a teacher
Very true.
doesn't need to be a sage on stage when it comes to teaching them any of this. So let's say one doesn't need to be a Nobel laureate like a C.V. Raman or a Homi Bhabha to teach science. Similarly, one doesn't need to be a Satya Nadella or a Sundar Pichai to teach technology. One doesn't need to be a Vinod Dham to teach engineering. Neither does one need to be a Picasso to teach art. One doesn't need to be an Aryabhatta to teach mathematics, because it's not just education, it's actually a global movement that's happening now. And
True,
the
very
greatest role of the 21st century teacher is to ensure that they instigate interest, lifetime love for STEAM, and encourage exploratory learning.
That is wonderful. That is beautiful. That word which you use, exploratory learning, that is so important. In fact, we just got a comment from somebody while you were talking that can you all develop a curriculum on STEM and send it to preschools? And I always feel, as the president of the ECA, that it would be better if the school teams develop something and send it to us to audit, rather than using a copy paste of something that somebody else has made. What do you feel, Dr. Sonawat? Don't you think that's right?
Yes, Swati, that's a right way of going, because when you prepare your curriculum, you know what exactly your context need, and contextual curriculum is one of the principle of curriculum development.
Absolutely.
So, I have said. So, and we can audit
and send it to us. Yes, we can audit it for you. So, Dr. Sonawat, since you are here, my next question is actually a two-part question to you. Number one, you said in your previous reply that STEAM is a part of the new education policy. Okay, so if you can give us one or two examples on that. And my second question is, from many of the schools who are following MI, which is multiple intelligences, how is MI different from STEAM?
Okay, so I'll take your second question first, because that is a
I knew that. I knew that because I know it's very close to your heart.
Dr. Howard Gardner.
Swati, the first thing is when I've seen many schools, like in your introductory remark, you have talked about STEAM. Similarly, MI is also misunderstood by many schools. What they are doing is separately they are giving one intelligence. So linguistic, ethical. So they have a corners, and there they are giving the intelligence. That was not a concept. So what you said in your introductory remark, you have integrated approach. So one topic, when we are teaching, at least 3 to 4 intelligences should be taken into the account when we are planning the activity. Then only we can do right way of multiple intelligence application in the classroom. Similarly, Swati, for the STEAM also, if we are talking of children, they are playing, and simple play like train, with that train, I remember in one of your schools, you had a train. So I'm visualizing the train. So when the child is playing with the train, a railway station, so he is going and buying the ticket, he is seeing the platform, he is seeing the reservation counter, then he is seeing the train, then the engine. So all these things are giving him the STEAM concept. So that kind of integration, if is done, that is more than enough for the preschool. That is what I.
Okay, perfect. So which means MI also is very much an integral part of STEAM. So it isn't that if schools feel that, oh my God, MI karu ke STEAM karu.
Yeah, No need to separate. It's all together. Just give developmentally appropriate education. That's more important. Don't go into all
Absolutely.
these things. And contextual
Absolutely.
education, Indian-based
Absolutely.
education, discovery-based education.
Wonderful words: integration, discovery based, so I'm going to go to Dr. Sarika now. Dr. Sarika, do you think the STEAM approach, like as you must have seen, many of the participants who joined us today may be hearing about STEAM for the first time, that STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. So do you think that we need some guidelines for teachers to follow if they are planning to take up STEAM as the foundation of their curriculum? And if you feel yes, can you give us two very brief examples?
Yep, yep. So fantastic responses from the panel members, and I absolutely second again what Rita ma'am has just mentioned. You know, the multiple intelligences, how they can be interwoven into any pedagogical practice. So I strongly believe, and what research is telling also, that multimodal learning is the way. It's the 21st century way to harness all these different 4 C's. For example, like I think Pranay was talking about the communication, collaboration, creativity, and the critical thinking, you know, the problem solving, looking for problems and solving those problems together. So these are the skills that we are looking at, and multiple intelligences, multimodal learning, that all fits in so perfectly to create that open-ended playground. And I would also like to add on a comment that if educators, I mean, I can see in my research around the globe, educators are integrating STEM in their curriculum. And based on evidence-based practices, I'm a big fan of Kat Murdoch's inquiry-based framework. Inquiry-based learning is something that I I almost follow to my heart. I have a 5-year-old and at home, and the amount of questions that we ask and how much I learn myself as an educator, as a researcher from a 5-year-old is phenomenal. So, and I'm sure our early childhood educators would second that to build on that curiosity, to have that multimodal learning, to harness those 21st century skills, we need to create those conditions. So what research is saying, besides looking at John Dewey's experiential learning, Kat Murdoch's, she's an Australian inquiry-based framework.
Could
In
you repeat
essence,
that, Sarika? The inquiry based, could you repeat that name, please? Because many people here may not be aware of that.
Kat Murdoch.
Can you spell it?
Kath, Murdoch, Murdoch.
Thank you.
Yep, and John Dewey's experiential learning.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's a classic seminal one. So looking at these frameworks and looking at teachers' evidence-based practices for STEM-based play, I have actually published its open access articles. Again, ma'am, I'm happy to put the direct link and you can share it with the educators. And you have
Sure.
learning stories, you have actual evidence case stories where educators have incorporated technology. Um, so I'll take you through that framework. Like, for example, you asked for some guidelines. The first step that
Just
I
two.
always
Just two.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So based on the framework, there are 5 steps. First is a teacher's planning. You ought to consult your curriculum. It is crowded, but you still need to interweave those concepts. They don't need to happen all in 1 hour, all in 1 day, all in 1 week. By using an inquiry-based approach, a project can happen, it can last for a week or it can last for a whole term, depending on the child's inquiry, between the children's collaboration and the project that they want to take lead into. As an educator, scaffolding children's prior knowledge is very important because children are not empty vessels. You know, they're getting all that super duper knowledge. They're born as scientists. So they come into your classroom with that prior knowledge. So how, as an educator, you scaffold that? You do that with the next step, which is inquiry. You pose them open-ended questions. Never ask, is this right or is this wrong? Always questions, what if? I wonder why. I love that question. I wonder why, what will happen? What if, why not? So immediately you're kind of bringing that high order thinking skills, HOTS. That's again something we promote. The HOTS is important in your early childhood curriculum. and the interactions. So as an educator, you then step back and you just enjoy the creativity that is pouring out in your classroom. I'm also a big fan of the Reggio Emilia approach, the 100 languages of children. In my research, we have also used robots. So you'll see this cute little robot who gives, who has different emojis. Just by putting in a robot which runs with battery or iPad apps, the inquiry processes just start. Like in one of my projects, we had the children investigate where my robot can live. What does my robot eat? What sort of habitats the robot can survive? So it was like a plethora of, inquiry-based questions that the teacher and the children were investigating together. People have talked about exploratory, experiences. So as a teacher, then how you come into that into the play and interact with the children. Let them fail. It's okay if the robot's code doesn't work, if the story map that they've imagined, that they've created, that they've drawn, it's okay. But that problem solving, that creativity is still pouring in. And yes, you will see there are the STEM concepts. I know that we educators always think about, oh, where is the maths? Where is the English? Children are making their own stories. Isn't that a good way for having scientific literacy through your STEM projects? And
That's
lastly,
wonderful.
in the pedagogical framework, lastly, I also talk about reviewing children's learning. We do not want to put numbers, tests, and rubrics on children's learning. There is no rubric you can test a child's creativity or critical thinking. It can only happen by, like ma'am said, about the multiple intelligences, by having the visual, the 2D, the 3D, the 4D approaches. We have
Right.
used virtual reality, augmented reality apps. Just by looking at, in a unit of inquiry, we had a topic about saving the planet. So children were worried how my robot is going to survive on the earth when it runs out of batteries. And they started constructing a battery world using cardboard and all those different everyday materials. They made their own stories for the robot to go and adventure. So it was such a rich inquiry project that lasted for about 6 weeks and so child-centered. So those are the 5
Absolutely.
steps that I published, and very happy to share them.
Could you type the link, some of the other participants, if you can type in the link while I talk to the other participants?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Because everybody will be very, very curious to read it. We are also a generation of, material collectors. We hoard a lot of, we want everything. We want to store it. But I urge everybody, when you get it, please read it also, because after all, as an educator, we also need to read and implement a lot of stuff. So Dr. Sarika, those were amazing points. I now go to Pranay again. And Pranay, I just realized something, that usually it is the women who are fighting to be on, in the workspace, etc. But I've noticed in all the webinars that we've had, men have been very few. So we have kind of overthrown the male population, and it's always a female panel. So that this is really amazing. So
Yes.
Pranay, to the only male in this panel, my next question comes to you. That do you think that STEAM is the way ahead for us to get out of this traditional rote learning rut that we have all fallen into?
Honestly, I will say yes. It's a big, big yes. But at the same time, I'll just take a few seconds, to go away from this. I will answer this question. And yes, so everything works. So the David McLean's theory of the theory of motivation, right? So we all work on this principle of particularly kids. So which is my personal experience spending all my time with them. So kids principally work on the theory of motivation. And this is as good as playing a Candy Crush Saga. This is as good as playing a Subway Surfers. This is as good as playing a Zynga Poker for them. So the idea here is there's a very dire need for them to go for that need for achievement. Whereas
Right.
as David McLean always said, need for achievement, need for power, and need for affiliation. These are the 3 things. And irrespective of whichever age we are, irrespective of whichever gender we belong to, irrespective of whatever our religion is. So technically, I would like to coin one more term over here, using this platform as a beautiful opportunity. I'll call it hard STEAM versus soft STEAM.
Oh,
Okay.
lovely.
Yes. So when I say hard STEAM versus soft STEAM, just like every association has a soul. So, and it's so let's talk about the Early Childhood Association of India, or let's talk about the Association of Primary Education and Research. So we have two heavy magnets over here, and we also have Mansi with us today. We are fortunate to have one vice president, one associate founder director, and the soul of ECA and APER today with all of us, Dr. Swati Popat Watts. So exactly like we have a soul to an association, we also need to have a soul and some fuel to this engine called STEAM. And this fuel and this engine, I call it life skills. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. So I'm just putting a philosophical angle to this. But yes, the first S would be self-esteem. The second T would be teamwork. The third would be empathy, particularly EQ over here. The fourth would be attitude. All right. The fifth will be measure. As you said, right? Kitna chahiye, material chahiye to kitna chahiye hame, right? We
Wow.
need to have a limit to it. We need to have.
I think we have lost Pranay's audio again. Every time he speaks something interesting, we lose his audio. But I think we'll come back to him when his audio comes back. But Mansi, I'm coming over to you now.
That's a sign. Every time Pranay's audio is off, I need to like fill it.
Yes, suddenly, you know, Mansi has to come on.
Hello?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, he's back. Yes, Pranay.
Am I audible to everyone? I'm so sorry for this connection. I am right next to a cantonment area. So I think this internet is really acting funny today.
Yeah. Please tell us. We are so eager.
Yes. So as I said, right. So the five things over here, one would be self-esteem. Second is teamwork. Third is empathy. Fourth is attitude. And fifth is measure. Mastery over your emotions, as in how much do you need? Us cheez ka kitna limit hona chahiye, right? Because we have no end to certain things, as in how many friends do we need? How many hours do we need? How many relations do we need? How much money do we need over here? So most importantly, going back to David McClelland's theory of motivation, every child principally works on the need for achievement theory, irrespective of whichever country he belongs to, irrespective of what his age, irrespective of whatever his race, irrespective of whatever his diversity is.
Wow. That was brilliant. Let me tell you that. I loved your soft skills definition of STEAM: self-esteem, teamwork, empathy, attitude, and measure. I think measure can also be called mindfulness, right?
Absolutely.
So we have to be mindful about what we are using, how much we are using. I think Corona has actually brought that mindfulness back in us. We are now very, 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 when we are planning also, as you all are aware, EC and APER are coming out with a document for schools that how should you reopen, what are the things that you should be mindful about when you reopen. Mm-hmm. I think this is something very important, that mindfulness becomes a part of it. So I loved your new definition of STEAM, Pranay.
The soft STEAM and the hard STEAM. But can I just take 1 second and ask you a question over here? In fact, this question is for all my co-panelists today. And can you all just think, can you just all of you all, could you please close your eyes and think about one scientist at the back of your mind?
Okay.
Can you all please close your eyes? Because I can see some eyes open. Great. We begin from you, Dr. Watts. I also call you General. So let me call you General, and let me ask you, what was the name of the first scientist you thought of?
I thought of Einstein.
Thank you. How about you, Dr. Sanawat?
Homi Bhabha.
Awesome. Dr. Sarika?
Albert Einstein.
Superb. Dr. Mansi?
I'm not a doctor.
I'm sure you will be soon.
Great, but I thought of Einstein as well.
All right. So do you think...
Actually, I have to confess that it took me a really long time to think of a scientist because he wasn't top of mind.
But do you see, General, do you see something over here? All right.
Yes,
there's one common thing over here. All of y'all think about a male scientist.
Yeah.
Yes? So this was a data, and this is a research done by TEDx and Harvard University collectively for the last 60 years. Any person, including scientists who are brilliant female scientists, all right? Nobody is talking about the W in STEAM, right? Which is the first dash, the woman in STEAM. So women also need some heroes. Women also need some mother figures over here, just like men have father figures. So nobody is thinking about a Madame Curie over here. Marie Curie over here.
That is why, Pranay, that is why STEM came into education.
Yeah.
That we were keeping science and technology only for the men, And that is why the whole idea of STEM came into education, and then it became STEAM. So I think in your question lies the answer, that if we want women also to have women heroes and men to have women heroes, it is very important that both boys and girls grow up with STEAM in the curriculum. So that's a very valid point. Mansi,
Absolutely.
before I come
Yeah.
to you,
Yeah.
I want to see that little handsome man who's trying to peep from your side.
Oh, it's not a handsome man. It's actually my daughter.
Oh, because I could see only little this much, and I thought it's a boy.
because
Oh my God.
because they're just very curious. So they want to make a point to the other party that they're around, and
So I
all
want
of
to see the beautiful little lady.
Another young lady on the panel.
that. Yeah. No, now she's run away. She's run away.
Okay,
But she's
okay.
shy, but she's run away. But
Her curious eyes were what caught my attention. So Mansi, this question comes to you. That do you think STEAM can become the engine of preschool education, or do you feel it will be just a bogie in the train and not the engine?
I think it's already become the engine, right? Because if you see, a large part of our choices that we're making today is all driving towards exploration, right? Like I don't remember, sitting to teach about a country or a place or anything with like the traditional map or a globe or any of that, right? We've literally gone, either we visited the place or we've actually gone through Google Maps, visited the place, gone through Google Arts and Culture, and that's what we're actually doing today, right? Like we've learned about the Smithsonian whether even like not even visiting there right now, right? So our narrative has already changed. Look at the way we're like, even even intuitively when we're teaching children, we're not actually saying this, that we're not saying A is for apple. The child is, or when the child even learns that, okay, these are glasses, you've not taught child that, okay, these are glasses. You've always said, pass me the glasses. The child has just picked up that, yeah, these are a pair of glasses, right? So I would say it's already there. And I think, Swati, again, coming back to what we as parents are looking at, or what we as corporates are looking at from children of the next generation, where we're struggling with, and what are going to be key differentiators is definitely going to be empathy and life skills, right?
Wow.
Like if you ask me, what have I taught my kids in the last like 5-6 weeks of lockdown, their empathy scores are at way better than what their math score may be right now. I don't even think it should be scored. But my point being that is what really matters. Life skills, survival skills, that's what matters. That is not going to come through anything else. Adding perspective that's what's going to matter. Otherwise, two people are going to just be clones of each other, and it's not going to matter. Adding collaboration, right? If they need to reduce competition and collaborate more, like in our case, like two pharma companies who would never see each other eye to eye have actually come together for a vaccine. That is that's what that A is doing. That's what's driving it at the moment. So I would say that it is already the driver. We need to ensure that now from that top 1 percentile, it's a trickle down effect to a large. And you've seen that in the way parents are even picking education or choosing extracurriculars, right? Like earlier in our times, the PE class or the art class would always be dropped, and it would always be taken as, if the science teacher, the math teacher hasn't finished her portion, she would like hijack those classes. Today, classes are, in fact, it's not about just PE and art or whatever, but they've also added a yoga. They've also added a mindfulness class. Now, that is the need of the hour. So I think it's already in the driver's seat. It's only about how we make sure that it trickles down to the lowest common denominator. And if I may just add to Pranay's part of the women scientists, Pranay, we are a generation who's grown up listening to male scientists. Ask my daughter today, and she already has her poster girls, and they are not male. Right? So this generation of women is going to make sure that the next generation, especially the mothers who are raising daughters, are making sure that their poster girls are not restricted to the men, for sure.
But to add on to this, Mansi, right, so when I spoke about Marie Curie, right, she was the only Nobel laureate, and amongst all the Nobel laureates so far, the only lady to get this twice. So I think not a single man has ever done that. So I think you should all be proud of of the scientist fraternity, because you guys are actually awesome.
Right.
Absolutely. And in fact, based on this, there's a wonderful movie that keeps coming on television called Hidden Figures.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about those women who actually helped America reach the moon. So it's very, very important that, yes, we acknowledge gender bias also should not creep in. And that is why STEAM is something so important, because it will keep both the boys and the girls involved in topics that matter around the world. And very rightly said by Mansi, which is very linked to what Pranay came out with, a new definition of STEAM, that life skills are very important. Now, I have something for the panelists and the audience. It's a game. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For this, you will have to get up from wherever you are sitting. I'm going to count up to 12. So it goes like tick, tick, 1, tick, tick, 2. You have to go and get, okay? You have to get me something. You have to get 2 glasses, and this is for all participants also. So please listen, because I'm going to do something here, right here. 2 glasses, 1 spoon, 1 plate, and a napkin. You have to get that in the next 12 seconds. Go.
1,
Tick, tick, 1.
3.
Tick, tick, 2.
Well, I'm at the university, so I'll try my best.
3.
In case if I go inside, my daughter will not let me come in.
5. Tick, tick, 6. Tick, tick, 7. Tick, tick, 8. Tick, tick, 9.
Check.
Tick, tick, 10. Tick, tick, 11.
I'll check.
And tick, tick, 12. Can I have the panelists back, please?
I'll check.
All check. Okay.
I'll check.
Now, if you can see, 2 glasses is what I asked for.
Mm-hmm.
1 spoon, okay, 1 plate, and a napkin. Now, I asked you to get these items because these are the items that are presently available at home. And many educators are planning their online lessons. So I'm going to give you a STEAM example based with these items, okay? So have a look at your items. With S starts science. So with these items, you can do a simple experiment of sink and float with your children, right? So think of science experiments, even with these ordinary everyday items which are presently available right now in your homes. T, technology, you will say glasses and spoon and technology. Simple, use the mobile phone in this. Make sound with each item, record it. And then ask your mommy or daddy to listen to that recorded sound and guess which are the items that are making a sound. So you made children use your mobile phones to understand audio, and it becomes a game for children, and they really love this. E is engineering. So build something from these items that you have collected. You have a napkin. So imagine the kind of things that may come out. What all will they build with it? And you have to build with all 5 items. So do you think they're going to come out with a lady, a robot, a house? What are they going to come out with? Your A stands for art. Now, art can be write a story using these items, write a poem using these items, or you have so much of sunshine coming in, put these objects in the sun and draw their shadows. So you've got your art out there. And M is about maths. So discover the size, the depth of each of these items. And you have now got your STEM lesson right there. Inquiry based with items around the house. So it is very, very important for us to understand that STEAM is not something that, we have to, oh my God, I will have to Google now, or I have to get this article or that book. STEAM, if you understand its meaning, stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. And because teachers are cooped up at home during the lockdown and are going to be cooped up right up to July, it is very important that you give interesting activities to children, and parents should then understand the connect to science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So we need to, because the general audience listening to this panel is from India, most of them, and Indians are very obsessed with writing. I'm seeing so many queries coming about how will we complete the writing? How will we complete the writing? Start training your parents' minds to understand that tomorrow's scientists, tomorrow's mathematicians, tomorrow's artists are all here right now with you in your homes, and we are trying to ensure that they are brought up with STEAM. And both the streams, today you got two streams, one which has life skills and one which has your science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. So isn't that wonderful? So I would like to take questions now, for which we will need Kanan back. Kanan, can you please come back on and please tell us
Yes,
the 3 questions that you have chosen?
yes, ma'am. So I had to choose it again and again because once I chose 3 questions and then you all have already answered those. So
That's when happens, that's what happens, Karan, when you have all these knowledge workers come together, and what Mansi rightly said, right? Not just
yes,
pharmaceutical companies coming together for some collaboration. This is
yes,
that time of the world, that
yes,
every single knowledge worker is in front of his screen and trying to make sure he's enlightening every single person on every single bit of that epistemology.
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
So the first question I would like to take from a Zoom participant, and this is a similar questions by many on Facebook as well, by Smita Agrawal. How does one choose the right assessment method for STEAM curriculum?
So I would like Sarika to answer this question, please.
Yep, sure. So the way we do it in Australia here is early childhood educators love their documentation. We are not asking you to sit down and make rubrics after rubrics, checklists after checklists on weekends to inform your further planning. Just by asking questions. That's why I see that inquiry-based learning is it's such a powerful framework. Just by asking questions and then looking at their drawings, looking at their artifacts, even getting them to make their own stories and come back and tell you, what have you learned? What have you enjoyed? What have you engaged in? And what would you like to continue working on? So just by having that ad hoc conversation, and all you do is, taking photos, even sitting down after maybe a couple of weeks, go back and reflect. So reflection, so critical reflection, as an early childhood educator also, I say, and we all are doing it. It's nothing new. You don't have to sit down on the weekend and stop there, watching your favorite movies and think, oh, what do I now, how do I test creativity? How do I test that what this group of children have learned, and how do I plan further? So like I said, adopt inquiry. A culture of inquiry is very, very powerful and solid to inform your children's learning, and also informing further planning together with your children, and involve children in your planning.
Absolutely.
So they are a part of your
basically, I know that the audience who's listening was actually looking for how do I give grades and comments on STEAM. But I would advise all educators that the best way to assess children is using Vygotsky ZPD. So which means go on their past performance and see whether they are evolving, whether they are growing in their ideas, in the way they look at different projects, etc. That is the best way. So before the participants again ask, can you send us notes? Please Google Vygotsky ZPD, which means Zone of Proximal Development. Kanan, can we have the next question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Add something before we take the next question. Is just 2 things that as parents, guys, for assessments, we are not looking as formal assessments.
Very
we are
true.
looking at more growth, and we are ensuring we want to be pacified as parents that emotionally our kids are kind of cushioned for the learning to happen, right? Because they are in an environment which they enjoy, right? So that is one. And second, I really like what Sarika mentioned about the critical thinking. So, we've launched something on Kidstoppers, which is called Summer Fun Factory, where we're saying that we're giving you a whole bunch of books that you should read to your children, and which your children should read over summer. But more importantly, we're saying that reading is one part of it. But what about the conversation that you have with your child after? We are focusing on that conversation that you have with your child after, because that will be a metrics for you to evaluate whether your child has followed
Absolutely.
and understood the book, right? Whether, you know, which character did you like? How would you design the plot differently? Or, you know, what's the empathy level that you have with the character? I think that was far
Absolutely.
more important for us as parents than just assessments and grades.
Yes, I think I'm so happy today. I'm sure Dr. Sonawat is also very happy that a parent has spoken today that it's not grades that we are looking for. We are looking for you to tell us what is the growth in our children, or like many people like to call it, improvement in our children. So it is up to us how we change the mindsets of parents. So Kritika was asking that, you know, how do we change other parents? Well, it's up to us to believe in something, to implement it, and then to make other parents aware of it. So can we have the next question, Kanan?
Yes, ma'am. So again, the second question was answered. So I am choosing another question now. So the another question is by Ms. Zubina Malia. I would like to understand how STEAM differs from the non-formal method of education propounded by Philip Coombs.
Okay, so I'll ask Dr. Sonawat to take this question.
Here only difference is when the children are playing, that time you need to keep in mind that what part of science, maths, engineering, art is part of that particular activity. So as a teacher should be knowing the STEAM is implemented in the activity. Child is just playing. For him, it is a science or technology, it doesn't matter. He is just playing. So that kind of pedagogy, if we are thinking, then we can say STEAM is implemented in the classroom.
Wow, fantastic. Pranay, would you like to add anything here?
I think she completely answered that question.
Kanan,
Yes.
can we have the third question?
Yes, ma'am. So the next question is from Facebook participant Mr. Bala Murugan. When we are preparing the students for the job that doesn't exist, why we need STEAM?
Okay, so I would like Pranay and Mansi both to take this question. So Pranay, can you go first?
Could you please repeat the question once again, please, Kanan? Could you please repeat?
Yes, sir. The question is when we are preparing the students for the job that doesn't exist, then why we need STEAM?
The primary reason, these are all 21st century survival skills. And as we talk about, when we, unless and until we do not have something which will really enhance our overall internal understanding to play anything, right, or to gamify the entire thing, that's one reason I think it's equally important.
Wonderful. Mansi?
I'll just only add to that, you know, I already addressed that. For me, whether it is STEAM or you know, anything else, it is only about that journey from point A to point B. And for 21st century skills, like I said, if you're looking at empathy and constant learning and unlearning, you will be fine. You will not be able to teach your kids anything for the 21st century. Let me also say, I don't remember any of, if I was to go back to my MBA and all of that I have learned, there may be concepts that play back as practical examples of what I'm applying today, but it's the practical example that actually comes before the concept to me. And I'm sure that's what's going to happen to to our kids as well.
And another thing, Kanan, to add on to this, you know, I usually use the 3 C's, you know, when we usually encounter this question from principals and school owners, right? Particularly all the educators. So if a child is not really trained from a very early age, right? So if he's not convinced on certain abilities or certain core competencies from a very early age, so if you are not convinced, you will be either confused or you will be either corrupted by the society. So the 3 C's are convince, confuse, and corrupt.
Right.
Absolutely.
Can I also add?
Yeah, Sarika, yeah.
Just one more thing, that we also want our children to learn, fail fast. We want them to be resilient. By giving them ready-made answers, by giving them ready-made knowledge, we are just shutting the doors to inquiry and creativity.
Absolutely.
So STEAM is such a beautiful engine or a segue to open those doors. Like I said, I really adore Marina Bird's work. She's from Tufts University. She says, we need to make it as a playground and not a playpen for our budding children.
Lovely. Lovely.
And if I may just add there, Swati, if I may just add there, you know, at Kidstar Press, we have a term called plurk, okay? Plurk is nothing but play plus work, right? Now, we all cringe on a Monday morning, but your kids never cringe to play. If we all just think that it's all plurking all the time, it'll just seem exactly, that's just supplementing what Sarika just said, that it'll not
Super.
seem so mundane after all, right?
Oh,
So
wow,
if
I
we
love
just teach our kids to just plurk all the way, they'll all
Plurk.
be very happy.
Wow, I love that word. I'm going to introduce it, plurk. Very good.
Good one. Good one.
And to the gentleman who asked this question, I always say in my workshops, let's not worry about the professions of tomorrow. When we were in kindergarten, our teachers didn't worry what will be the professions of today. They prepared us for life. And that's exactly what we need to do, because none of us are sure about the professions of tomorrow. If many people thought that by 2020 we will be flying, instead of walking, but we are right now all isolated at home, trying to maintain social distancing. So I think let's not worry so much about the future. Let's worry about the child's present. And I had promised you all that before we wind up, I will tell you about water, because to create steam, you need water. So what is the full form of water? W stands for why, what, when, and how. If teachers don't know this, they will not know what are the kind of projects that they are doing. So they should know why they need to do this particular project, what will they achieve by this project, when will children understand or learn, and how will children understand and learn. The A stands for attention and amygdala. So you must know children's attention span. Every age group has a different attention span. So when you plan a project, please keep that attention in mind. And amygdala, that's the part of your brain which is always scared. And you are scaring children when you say, I'm going to grade you on this, or this is going to be a test, or even teachers. If you are worried about grading your child on that project, on that STEAM project, it's very important that the amygdala is going to go haywire and the children are not going to be behaving properly in your class. The T stands for theories. It is so important. Today, every panelist named some or the other expert. We must know our founding fathers in early childhood education. If you look at Froebel's work, it already had STEAM 200 years back. He didn't call it STEAM, he called it gifts. So it's very important that all the early childhood theories, approaches, we should know about them. Then your water, E stands for emergency and safety. When you are planning a STEAM project, safety definitely has to be kept in mind. I know I visited a school once where they were trying to teach the children that how water turns into steam, and the teacher didn't keep distance from the children, and many of the children got scalded by the steam. So you have to keep safety in mind, and you must know your emergency response. And last is R. You need to know that all these skills are going to ready children for the formal learning, which is your reading, writing, and number work. So readiness, which is Dr. Sonawat's favorite topic, is also something that you should be aware of, that what am I readying children for? So water before STEAM. So I would like to thank all the panelists because we have run out of time. And Dr. Sarika, thank you. It is my conversation with you that gave birth to this panel. So thank you so much for coming on. I know it is evening and it's wine time in Australia. So enjoy your glass of wine. Dr. Sonawat, thank you so much. I really enjoyed your points, especially when you linked them to the new education policy. Pranay, your iCube is something that everybody is looking forward to. So please ensure that you post a poster on ECA groups, and I'll ask Samta to forward it everywhere.
Sure.
And Mansi, I saw a side of you today, which was a combination of both parent and an educator. So thank you so much, Mansi, for being on this show. I would once again like to thank Kannan and especially Mr. Brahman, because he has always been so supportive of early childhood and especially ECA. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of this panel. See you soon.
Yep.
Thank
It's been
you.
a
Thank you
pleasure.
very much,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Thank
Thank you.
you.